a lot of times the fire engine's just sitting there doing nothing. So if you look at it as a sort of efficient manager would, you'd say, well, why do we have 25 of them if at most times 17 of those fire engines aren't doing anything? Why don't we cut 2 or 3 of them? And so they do that, and it's fine for 3 months or 6 months or a year. But then you have a huge fire next door to the closed firehouse, and people die.
One of the things that serving on the fire and EMS services does is it strips away any illusion you might have about death and the nature of death. You learn that it happens an infinite number of ways, but you also learn that it's very rarely is it, give my love to mom. Sometimes it's violent, and even when it's not violent, it's not pretty.
The fire raced through the house in a few frantic moments. By the time neighbors knew something was burning, it was too late to help.
There's a certain house just north of town here where every time I go by, I think of seeing the ambulance come out, and they were carrying the little baby, and the little baby didn't make it.
It was a grisly, tedious task. The children who died included a 1-year-old and an 8-month-old girl.
A lot of times when we're dispatched, communications division will say people trapped, people yelling out of the windows, and that automatically sends you into another frame of mind. You know what I mean? Because especially if they say babies trapped, people start really personalizing things like that, because most of us have kids and things at home, and the thing on your mind is how you gonna make the save. You almost get tunnel vision, which is very dangerous in this field.
You take this job, you train, you work. Generally, you're responding to a call where you're always helping somebody, or trying to anyways, and people are get themselves in situations that, most time firefighters can get them out of.
I heard the screaming from inside my house, which is right across the street, and I ran to the front door, and I saw flames, and I heard people screaming, there's babies in the house.
Rick was here alone. Right. When did you first hear about it?
We heard a lot of sirens. I had a portable radio at home. I turned it on to see what was going on. First thing I heard was one of the police officers first on scene, basically saying, tell them step it up. We got fire on all 3 floors, and a woman and children trapped on the 3rd floor.
As I was pulling up the street by myself, I could imagine what all the people were thinking, that here comes this fire truck, $500,000 piece of equipment. Everything's gonna be all right, and it's not. I know it's not. I'm in this truck by myself. This truck seats 6. You need at least 3 people on it to make any type of attempt at anything, whether you're going to use the aerial or the pump. I pulled up and I realized that the first mistake was taking a ladder truck, because it was useless. We had power lines going down the right side of the street. I couldn't get the aerial underneath the power lines to get up to the 3rd floor, and I couldn't go over them to get down to the 3rd floor. It was a lot. There was a lot of fire. People were screaming, pointing up at the windows. I ran to the side of the truck to where they were pointing, and they said there was somebody up there. I looked up and I didn't see anybody. For some reason, I went around the back of the truck, and there was a woman I didn't know personally at the time. I know of her now, and someone else were working on a baby that was on the back step of the truck. First thing I thought to myself is, oh my God, thank God that they got, somebody made a rescue over a ladder or whatever and got this baby out of the building. But it was later I found out that in a desperate attempt to save the baby, Yeah, I actually thought somebody had rescued the baby over a ladder or was in the building and found the baby, not knowing that the mother made a desperate attempt at trying to save her by basically throwing her out the window. The baby was med-flighted to Boston, best hospitals in the world, I think, or in this part of the country. And she died a few hours later. By then, more people were arriving, more trucks, out-of-town companies, people trying to get in the building now, make some type of attempt at making a rescue.
Nothing could be done for those on the 3rd floor. Lisa Collum was 33. Her children, 4-year-old Lindsay and Carly, the baby, only 5 months.
We lost 3 people here in this house, and I don't know much more we can say. You know, 3 beautiful people. 3 beautiful people. And then, you know, there's not much more we can do.
Almost 20 years to the day, Ipswich had a very similar fire where they lost a family, most of a family. Same situation, understaffed, you know, horrific fire, and they say history repeats itself, and it sure did. Covered 33 square miles with 4 guys on a shift. Most of the time it will drop down to 3. And you're asking a lot of those 3 guys. You know, and one person showing up like Rick did, you know. My thoughts were with him for a long time after that fire, because I know Rick and the experience he's had from where he came from, you know, working Lawrence Fire for 5 years, and you know, he's a great firefighter, and for him to have to be faced with what he was faced with that night wasn't fair to him or anybody else.
I don't know if you can tell by my face, I'm still angry about this. I will till the day I die. I'll carry this with me forever.